he's on our side. You know what he's showing? At Butler, an amazing thing happened. You had two American flags, very far apart, held up, I think, by different cranes. They were very big flags, beautiful flags, and they were waving. And as that horrible event was taking place, the wind blew the flags together, and they formed a perfect angel. I don't know if we have it, but it was a perfect angel was formed. I'll tell you, a lot of things happened. If we haven't put it up, if we don't have it, that's it.
I'm not sure how much more of a direct link you need than Donald Trump whipping his supporters into a frenzy over the press on a daily basis, then watching these people then try to directly attack the press at his own rallies. The extent to which Trump employs the use of political violence as a tool cannot be overstated. In fact, if you needed more of a causal link, the AP reported, quote, "The altercation came moments after Trump criticized major media outlets for what he said was unfavorable coverage and dismissed CNN as fawning for its interview Thursday with his Democratic rival Kamala Harris and her running mate Tim Walz." So Trump assails the media, leading to his supporter listening to that and moments later taking it upon himself to attack the media. As if there was any doubt about how January 6th happened, we are seeing reminders on an almost daily basis. And before Donald Trump inevitably tries to deny it, all you have to do is listen to his words during the police takedown.
That's okay. He's on our side. We get a little itchy, don't we, Howard? No, he's on our side.
Trump saying, "Oh no, he's on our side, as if to apologize for the guy's behavior. It's okay when a Trump supporter tries to attack the media because, after all, he's on Trump's side, and violence is totally fine when it's perpetuated by someone on the right." Got it. Trump then offered up, "Is there anywhere that's more fun to be than a Trump rally?" That was his message to a deranged supporter trying to attack the media, that it's fun, that watching some lunatic try to kill the press is a good time, in his opinion. In fact, I spoke with Nancy Pelosi today in an interview that'll be released this weekend, but here's a preview of it that specifically focuses on Donald Trump's use of political violence as a tool to get what he wants, which Nancy Pelosi knows particularly well since he wielded it against her on January 6th and her husband shortly thereafter. So we just saw new January 6th footage from your daughter, from Alexandra, get released, showing how mad you were at Donald Trump and at the January 6th insurrectionists. And yet, right now, Donald Trump is out on the campaign trail. He's glorifying them. He is promising to pardon them. He's treating them as heroes. These people were there at the U.S. Capitol because they wanted to kill you. They were seeking to assassinate you. Can you explain how it feels to see him predicate his reelection on protecting those people and how personal this issue is for you?
I think it's a sign of his weakness. This is a very weak person. He was weak when he incited an insurrection of the Capitol because he lost. He lost. He was a loser, and he couldn't face that reality, so he said it was a theft. Sent these people to this. Now he's having a party honoring them or something. Yeah. But the thing is that somebody said to me yesterday, so many of the Republicans on Capitol Hill have reevaluated their what they saw that day. I said, they're not reevaluating it. They're telling a different story. They know what they saw that day, and they are now trying to cover it up because it is so awful that even they cannot accept how awful it was. So now they're lying about it. And that's what he's doing. But that's all the more reason why this man can never be anywhere near the White House again. That's why this election is so important. And that's why we have to make a decision to win. We made that decision. The president made that decision. President Biden, we thank him for his patriotism to save our country, and we thank him for his selflessness to step aside. He said, "I love this job, but I love our country more."
Another instance where political violence was validated was with the violence against your husband, Paul Pelosi, which you spoke about in your book, The Art of Power, a New York Times #1 bestseller. Congratulations. So I want to get into that in just a moment. But first off, how is he doing, and how is your family doing?
Thank you. He's doing fine physically, getting there. He has a little ways to go. The trauma is something that will be long-lasting for our family, for my children and our grandchildren, of their father being assaulted and grandfather being assaulted in our home. And that's one thing. That's a horrible thing. But to have the former president of the United States and his family, Democrat, Republican governors, others making a joke of it.
Right.
That was really traumatic. That was so sad for our country, and that people would laugh at such a thing. That's very traumatizing.
Can you speak on that for a moment? Because Republicans will clutch their pearls at anything that Democrats do and claim that Democrats are seeking to perpetuate political violence. And yet, in an instance where there was actually political violence, and it occurred at the hands of Donald Trump because he incited these lunatics to go attack the U.S. Capitol, to go attack you and your husband, for them to then turn around and laugh at it. Can you speak on that?
Well, they take their example from him.
Right.
This is a grotesque figure, Donald Trump. And he projects everything. Like he'll call Hillary crooked Hillary. He's crooked. He calls me crazy Nancy. He's crazy. Everything he does is a projection. So he is projecting onto the Democrats. He's saying the Democrats motivated the person to shoot him. No, but that might be something he might do.
Right.
And so he projects. And he's trained by example all these others who will project. It's a really tragic thing for our country. The only remedy is to win. And the remedy to win is to win big. So that when he goes on to say, I'll only accept the results if I win, that's a lunatic.
Right.
That's a lunatic. But yet there are enough people who still decide they're going to vote for him, and we have to show them the difference in the vision for them for the future. That's what Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are prepared to do.
So the fact is that when I say that we need to beat Donald Trump so badly at the ballot box to not only ensure that he doesn't win, but to wholly and completely repudiate Trumpism and send it to the ash heap of history, this is why. It's not just about his draconian agenda, although it's important to repudiate his draconian agenda. It's also about the methods that he uses to perpetuate it. The only way to end the use of violence as a political tool is to show that far from it being effective, it's actually the opposite. It is why he's losing. What we saw tonight at this rally should be a warning about what's to come as we move toward November, and the exact reason why we all need to ensure that he doesn't get anywhere near the Oval Office. And by the way, we also have an obligation to point it out every single time, which is why I'm making this video right now. I was on Piers Morgan's show a few weeks back, for example, and Piers decided to try and both sides of the issue of political violence in the immediate aftermath of Donald Trump's assassination attempt. That didn't sit too well with me.
One trick that Kamala Harris missed in her speech, it was not a bad speech at all, but one thing she didn't do, she didn't allude to the assassination attempt on Trump. And it's only been 9 days since someone tried to murder Donald Trump and actually shot him in the ear, killing him by a quarter of an inch. Would it not have been a smart move in between calling him, a sexual predator and a con man and a fake and blah, 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 very ad hominem stuff? Would it not have been a smart move in terms of unity had she just taken a moment to acknowledge the assassination attempt and say how pleased she was that he survived it? Something of that nature.
Piers, I find it so bizarre that the onus is always on the Democrats, it's always on the adults in the room to create unity. Where was everybody for the last 6 years calling for unity when Donald Trump was president? And, as far as the violence is concerned, I feel like any effort to try to pin, again, the onus on Democrats in terms of lowering the temperature in this country is just a testament to the fact that the Republicans are graded on the curve. Remember, it was not the Democrats, while we're talking about political violence, it wasn't the Democrats who laughed at Paul Pelosi being bludgeoned with a hammer. That was Donald Trump. It wasn't Democrats who called for military tribunals for Liz Cheney. That was Donald Trump. It wasn't Democrats who laughed at a kidnapping plot against Gretchen Whitmer. That was Donald Trump. It wasn't Democrats who called for General Mark Milley to be executed. That was Donald Trump. It wasn't Democrats who posted a baseball bat photo with Alvin Bragg and threatened death and destruction if he was charged. So in all of these examples, Piers, it is not the Democrats who've done this. It's not the Democrats who've validated the use of political violence as a tool in this country. And it shouldn't be on the Democrats all of a sudden to be the adults in the room. So let us not delude ourselves into thinking that this is a both sides issue when only one side is engaging in and perpetuating political violence. And it's gone on long enough in this country. We have the opportunity between now and November to end it once and for all in America. But that's on us to decide. We can turn the page on this horrific chapter of our country, but it means we all take an active role in this election and don't just hope for an end to Trumpism, but actually go out and vote for it. Before you go, just a quick note, if you'd like to see more of my content, which is always free of advertising, sponsorships, and paywalls, please make sure to subscribe to this channel using the subscribe button right here on the screen. And if you'd like to support my work even further, you can grab a copy of my instant #1 New York Times selling book, Shameless, available for sale right now. That link is also on the screen. Thanks so much for watching.